We're joined on a video call by Devinder Sharma. He is a food and security and trade analyst. He joins us from Bhopal. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the social network. And in the studio, we've got with us Mr. Vijay Sardana, who's also a food security expert. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Sharma. You know, we keep talking about environment, and the few words that constantly come to our mind are pollution, conserving environment, saving water, saving trees. Where does food fit into all of this?
Well, first of all, I think everything that you talked about is related to food, because what has happened is, if you look into the entire debate on global warming, 30% of the greenhouse gas emissions comes from agriculture. And much of the pollution that we see around in the rivers or in the soil or in the destruction of the natural habitat is because of agriculture, the kind of intensive agriculture farming practices that the world has followed all these years. Now, I think what is significant about this campaign this year is that the world has now realized, that instead of producing more food, as is the common refrain, I think what they are trying to say is that today we have 7 billion people on the planet, and we have a feeling that we have a shortfall in food production. But I think what is not known is that the world is producing food for twice the population at present. At the USDA, US Department of Agriculture, estimates show that in 2012, the world produced food for 13 billion people, which means almost twice the population. So there is no need to produce more for, as we have always heard that in 2050, we'll have 9 billion people, so we need to produce more. And that would mean that we are creating more environmental crisis. So I think what is important is to save on food that is being wasted. 40% food in America goes waste, 40 to 50% food in European Union goes waste. And I think this wastage, if it is stopped, for instance, the American waste, let's say 40% is stopped, then it is good enough to feed the entire requirement of sub-Saharan Africa. So if we were to just reduce wastage. So I think the FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization, has now realized, and I'm glad they are focused on this issue, that we don't need to produce more. If we were to save food alone, it will be a big saving for the environment. And much of the environment protection would depend upon how much food we are able to save. So I think.
All right, Mr. Sharma, I'm just going to interrupt you because there's so many numbers that you've thrown out over there that it's, we need to make sense of some of those numbers. But I'm going to bring Mr. Sardana in. So, of course, the larger point that Mr. Devinder Sharma is making is that there's tons to go around for everybody at the moment. But I think the problem really lies in the fact that even though there's tons to go around for everybody, but there's still so many people starving to death. And we need to use what we have in a slightly more judicious way. We need to reduce wastage. We need to use what's available to us a lot better. And also, along with that, conserve the environment. Talk to us a little bit about this in terms of the Indian context.
See, we have seen from Government of India that we are investing a lot on agriculture. A lot of subsidy for water, electricity, fertilizer. Everywhere we are talking of subsidy. Still, we are saying that 30% food which goes waste.
Yeah.
On the other side,
in India itself, I think one of the worrying headlines that comes year after year at the time of the monsoon is that tons and tons and millions of grains go waste. It's 23 million tons of cereal that goes waste. This is ridiculous in a country which has such a high rate of malnourishment.
Very simple logic, because our priorities are not right. We invest 80,000 crore in developing infrastructure for Commonwealth Games, and all those stadiums are lying unutilized. How many thousands of crores we have invested in last 10 years in developing storage area? And that shows the priority of the government. We are spending lot of taxpayers' money on infrastructure where utility is only for 10 days or 15 days. But where every year we are wasting, means food grains worth 1 lakh crore, we are not even willing to invest 10,000 crore, which will save every year at least 50,000 crore year after year. So that is precisely, when we waste, then the simple argument is we have to produce more. And that is precisely somewhere the issue comes up is, do we have a complete food balance in this country? How much we are producing, how much we are wasting, how much money we are investing to save food. And if we save food, we are going to save environment, because there will be less stress on water, there is going to be less stress on soil, there is going to be less stress on transportation. Everywhere there is going to be saving. So I think we have to go back to the drawing board,
Yeah.
relook into our food balance, and
you-
think about it.
You know, it's really interesting, Mr. Sardana and Mr. Sharma. I'm just going to interrupt both of you for just a minute and say that, you know, we've often had these drawing room conversations about, you know, how we can make, how the government has gone wrong, how we could make things better. But I think social media is one of those spaces where citizens and people really use it as a space to come out and say, hey, here's what we can do. And, you know, one of the things, one of the concepts that's been really, really popular in the last many years is, of course, this Dabbawala concept in Mumbai, which has been a unique initiative. It's been talked about across the world for providing food to thousands and thousands of people in Mumbai. All right, so of course, the central point, sir, was of that particular campaign is that if you're getting a Dabbawala in Mumbai and you've got food in it that you haven't been able to consume, put a little sticker on it and that food will go to somebody who simply has nothing to eat at all. I think it's great initiatives like these that really make, you know, that really bring meaning to this campaign of Think, Eat and Save. But tell me a little bit, you know, Mr. Sardana, talk to us a little bit more about other initiatives across the country, like in so many parts of the country where organic farming is now taking such, you know, is becoming prominent. Of course, it's far more expensive than actually spraying with pesticides and doing mass production. But the thrust on organic farming is increasing a whole lot more because people are realizing that they do need to consume things grown locally. And that is perhaps the most judicious way of, in fact, consuming, say, something like a, you know, like a bottle of jam as opposed to importing it all the way from America.
So we have to also understand in one aspect that agriculture is not only production of food. Agriculture provides input for another 5,000 industries.
Yeah.
If we have to look only agriculture from food point of view, then the logic of organic may survive. But when there is a intensity, when we want to have a renewable resource for industrial application, one of the biggest renewable resource is agriculture. When the population density is very high, like in India, when everything depends upon a high climate and, you know, the insect attacks and so many things, just taking one view and saying that this is the ideal scenario for India, I am not in favor of that.
Okay.
I think we should be open to all ideas, see what is right for us in a what's given situation, instead of branding XYZ is the only solution for India.
Yeah.
Because one side we are talking of climate change.
Yeah.
On the other side, we are talking of pollution.
Yeah.
Then we are talking of scarcity of water.
Yeah.
Then we are talking of rising new form of insects, microbes, whole lot of biotic stress.
Yeah.
In this changing environment, how come a one concept can survive with
So
all
we have
these
to look
odds?
at a variety of,
I think we
have to look at
should
a
be
basket
open.
of,
We should think of various options. What is right fit for